Hello everyone, we are the Tax and Tack Fitting Group. Today I am going to talk about therapeutic riding tags. This is me. My name is Dan Shu. I am currently a senior at UNH and I am a past certified therapeutic riding instructor. Okay, let's start with the bridle. Here is a bitless bridle. As you can see from its name, this bridle does not have a bit. However, it has other similar structures to a regular bridle. For example, here is a noseband, here is a ring, and here is a throat latch. This part goes down under the horse's throat. You may ask why we use a bitless bridle in therapeutic riding instead of a regular bridle. Because some riders, especially beginners, do not know how to steer a horse properly and probably lack enough balance and muscle control, so they may use rough aids or rely on the rein for balance. And horses have a sensitive mouth. We don't want to hurt them. If we have a bit in their mouth, it adds pressure on horses' corner of the mouth and the roof of the mouth. Therefore, we take the bit out and just use the bitless bridle. With this bridle, riders are still able to steer their horse, and horses can sense the pull pressure. As riders improve their riding technique and having more independent hands, they will gradually transition to a regular bridle. Here are rainbow rings. Theoretically, you could attach any type of ring to a bitless bridle. However, rainbow rings are the most common type we use here at UNH Therapeutic Riding Program. Because riding is a hard multitask. If you are a rider, you will know this. You have to keep heels down, look up, and keep your chest open. That's a lot of things to think about in your brain. And once the instructor says, maybe probably shorten the rein for 2 inches, it is hard for your brain to process that much information. Instead of that, if the instructor just say, hold the red part or hold the yellow part, that will be much easier. And it is called a rainbow ring because of its color. It looks like a rainbow. Here is a lead rope. This red rope right here. It is very useful in therapeutic riding sessions since some riders are beginners, and when someone is taking control of the horse, it is easier for riders to focus on themselves and learn how to balance on the horse. Also, the rider, if they don't know how to control the horse, the leader uses a lead rope. This can ensure the rider and sidewalker's safety. When the rider have more experience, the leader will put them on a longer or loose lead, and eventually they will develop their riding technique and move on to ride off lead. Here is a ramp. This is for riders to get on horses. Usually, most able-bodied riders get on from ground or from a mounting block. However, some riders in therapeutic riding may need assistance from an instructor to get on the horse, and the small mounting block is too tight for 2 people to stand on. Therefore, we use the ramp, so the riders can get on with instructor on one side. Usually, another volunteer will be on the other side to help the rider get on. It is also for riders who have limited range of motion. As we all know, swing your right leg over horse's hip is a lot of movement. And also for wheelchair users, the riders can get on at the wheelchair and get onto the ramp. We have a lift at UNH which can lift rider into the air and put them back down on horse's back. When the rider is safe and secure in their saddle, some volunteer will open the gate. It's this part in front, and then the leader will lead the horse out. And then let's move on to saddles. These are the most common all-purpose saddles used in riding. It is not only for therapeutic riding but can also be used for other able-bodied riders. It's called all-purpose because the saddles are designed for multifunctional use. The seat here is not too deep and not too shallow. The riders can easily post and sit or get into a two-point position. Next is the Western saddle. The Western saddle have a wider base. It have a high pommel, which is the front of the saddle, and a high cantle, which is the back of the saddle. These two parts will keep the rider's seat in position, kind of hold them there, and then give them more support. Also, there's a handle in the front of the saddle. Riders can hold the handle to keep themselves in balance. And this is a Pullman strap, this green thing. We usually attach this to the D-ring. It's here on the saddle. The Pullman strap can be removed or attached. This is basically for riders to hold on when they are in a riding lesson. It helps them to stay in balance, and they don't need to rely on the rein to keep themselves in place. It is also especially helpful for riders who are first time learning to do posting trot or two-point position. Here's a Western stirrup. It is wider, but it serves the same function as a regular stirrup. The only different thing I would say is this stirrup is covered in a layer of leather. And then here's a safety stirrup. It appears in almost every lesson in our therapeutic riding center. This picture on the top just look like a regular stirrup. However, if you look from the side, here is a big S curve on the outside of the stirrup. This S-shaped curve is designed for riders who, when they are in an emergency or they have to be dismounted, this can release their foot quickly so they won't stack their foot in the stirrup and get dragged. Peacock is another type of safety stirrups. Although they look different, they function the same way. Peacock has an open on the outside, attached usually by a piece of elastic, and in emergency dismounts, this elastic piece will just pop open and release rider's foot.